Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the UK League Championship here at the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios. I'm Hitpray and he's Orcs, and we've had a really good set of games to start us off, but we are rounding out our games today with MnM taking on Demise. Now, Orcs, this one, another one kind of closer within the standings. How are we feeling about this particular game?
So I think based on how they played yesterday, I think MnM are coming out favored. But Demise, they have shown some good moments. They just really struggled up against Envision. It felt like Zoiran in the matchup made against Adept could not hold his own. Felt like Wolfchen, we saw a lot of good things from him coming into his transition into the roster, but really not yesterday. He was on Olaf, couldn't find the momentum. Now, if they get themselves into good matchups, I think this is a team that can function well when they have split push or side pressure threats. I think that if Wolfchen's in a favorable matchup or either farming or applying pressure, he's good. So I think it's more about getting them onto an easy to execute composition that suits them is the big thing. For MnM, they had good early skirmishes. And they had a good draft, I felt, that gave them strong lane matchups, but it felt like the objective control wasn't there. They were handing over these heralds and these dragons to Fnatic Rising, and all that gold got funneled onto Xmatty, and eventually that became too much.
Now remember, these teams are tied in the standings right now, 2 and 5. The loser of this game will tie with Phelan, jumping tied for 6th place, 6th, 7th, and then the winner will go up, and they'll be on the just so close on the tails of Envision. But we're into picks and bans. We're a ways away from that. Senna taken away. The Syndra also taken away here. And Demise, who do you think we're going to be kind of playing around in this early phase of the pick bans? Do you think they're going to be looking to put stuff into Rabstar, getting him comfortable matchups, or is it jungler priority? What are we looking at?
I'd like to have a good matchup with the jungler where Wolfchen can really pop off. I'd like to give Zoiran, most importantly, a good matchup. MnM often look to apply pressure through the mid-jungle on Soft and Chimera, and Zoiran showed that he was potentially vulnerable to that yesterday against Envision. So you put him in a strong matchup, and I think he should be able to hold his own, and that allows the rest of the composition to function around him. Kerberos has been solid so far this split. He looks good when he's able to apply pressure in the side lane, but also is fine playing weak side. I think it's just mid lane super important right now, and Zoiran needs to be able to hold his own if they're going to find success.
So we've seen the Ziggs, the Aphelios, the Ornn, and the Soroka all banned away now.
I like these bans from MnM because these are all mid lane targeted bans. Obviously the Soroka and the Ornn are flexes, but these are picks that Demise could take in the first rotation and then give over to Zoiran and have a staple mid laner already secured for them. So I like the denial there.
And also one of the key things we've been talking about is how Kerberos has been heavily prioritizing the Ornn and things like that and team play picks, but Demise, they pick up the Yuumi to start us off. Now, MnM could just deny it and take the Ezreal here, and then Yuumi's in a rougher matchup, or...
You can still take Lucian. I don't think it's worth it. I think mostly it just allows you to pick a composition that can punish the bot lane. Yuumi's very easy to dive in the early game, pre-6. Here in an 80 carry, and then on top of that you can consistently have pressure and you can use that to get control of bot side river because Yuumi gets shoved in massively early. But for now, MnM going to prioritize the solo laners. Well, they're going to pick up the set for Mummus and then the Misfortune, which, as you said, one of those champions that can shove in a Yuumi lane heavily, apply pressure, and if you get a fed MF, I think we saw what happened last game.
Yeah, we did. Deadly just doing some monster work on that pick. Now, Demise looking for something they can put paired up with this Yuumi, but for now they're blind picking the LeBlanc. We know Chimera's been performing very well on that LeBlanc as well, so it's a denial pick as well as it is a solid blind pick here for the side of Demise. And you expect to see them pick up their AD carry now.
And I like the priority given to Zoiran to give him a strong pick. That's a good blind in the current meta, so it puts him in a comfortable spot, hopefully up against Chimera. It also sets up a lot of pick potential late in the game. If you have the LeBlanc paired with the Yuumi, can easily dive over. But they will lock in the Ezreal, securing the Ezreal Yuumi combo. And the question is going to be MnM. They can answer mid, have that matchup. They can answer bot lane with support to punish, or they can look towards the jungle and then ban away counters. For now, they're going to answer in the mid lane. Lissandra, a typical counter to the LeBlanc, obviously too tanky to kill. You can match the mobility, you can outshove her so that you can roam. So good pickup for Chimera to answer that one. Now we get in the second rotation. So junglers not picked up for either side, support not picked up for MnM, and top lane are lacking for Demise. So they could look towards Kerberos to punish. Aatrox definitely an option. Camille is something he likes to play quite a lot. Gangplank even, he's shown he will pick up recently. But initially they're going to target the jungle with the Shyvana away from Wolfchen.
We saw Wolfchen have a lot of success on that. He likes these junglers that can hard farm. Have got the options of the things like maybe the Carthus as well available, but for now, Soft has had a lot of success on this Lee Sin. We did see him yesterday playing the Zac, so there's always a potential pocket pick that maybe Demise have to consider. Be aware that it could come out, and if you're looking for something that you can jump in on to that Ezreal Yuumi while they're underneath a tower, Zac's not awful at it.
No, definitely isn't. I think the Olaf ban makes a lot of sense, though. Farms pretty effectively and mitigates a lot of what Lissandra wants to do. Carthus is going to be banned away now from MnM. Obviously, you could use that mid priority to very much set him up for the later stage, especially as bot is likely going to have priority too. Now here, they can pick the jungler and have first pick on what they want that's left and available. Gragas, Jarvan, both up, Elise as well. Or they can take support and leave jungle for more of a counter role. Leona's still open, which works very well in tandem with the Misfortune, or you could go something that offers a bit more range to trade more effectively. And they're going for the range option, they're going for that Bard, and this is a champion that will utilize the priority they achieve very well. So when Misfortune shoves in the Ezreal Yuumi, it means Bard can roam, and he's very good at roaming, so he gets a lot of value out of that.
Yeah, they are going to pick themselves that up. Now, Demise, what's their answer? They're looking towards a top laner and a jungler. Junglers have been heavily trimmed down in these earlier phases. So for now, we're going to pick up Curb, a split pusher in that Camille, something that can also scrap early versus that set.
Something that he's been playing quite frequently. Obviously, Curb has been playing more meta things like the Gangplank and the Ornn, but he still is defaulting to the split push pressure on the Camille. And then for junglers, there's the Gragas, there's the the Gragas, the Jarvan, the Elise are still available for Vulcan, unless you want to go for something a bit more out there. And if he goes to the Echo, that definitely will be a little bit more out there on the fringes. So we've seen quite a bit of success. I think Razork in the LEC on Misfits had an amazing game on that champion up against G2. So has a lot of strength, can snowball effectively, and also pretty devastating to Misfortune, because if you're standing still channeling that ultimate and he sets his W down, it can stun. MnM looking to potentially answer.
Yep, going to get their hands onto the Rek'Sai here. So, team comes to round it out, Orps. What are you making of this? What are the conditions? What are MnM looking to do? What are Demise looking to do? Let's talk in the first kind of 0 to 15 minutes. What are the team's game plans here?
So 0 to 15 minutes, I feel like MnM, they have a super strong mid-jungle combo, and they can use the priority for bot lane to get Bard to pair up with them, and they can really just get control of the map, look to contest dragons, heralds, etc. Demise, it's a little bit trickier. They're going to be on the back foot. I'm looking towards Wolfchen to see if he can potentially counter gank, because Echo's great at that. Or if they can match the movements with Zoran, he's got Ignite advantage, so that could be a factor. I think after that, Demise have a lot of scaling, and they can split the map quite effectively. It's very hard for a lot of the champions on the side of MnM to ever really get on top of Demise. I mean, the bullet time, you're rarely going to hit multiple members. Chimera wants people clumped, Soft wants to be in melee range, Mummus is short range as well, and you look at Demise, and this is a composition where it is extremely difficult to pin someone down because they're all very mobile, they're all happy to spread out and split up. So I feel like if it gets to the later stages and MnM don't have a lead in which they can force with, they're going to struggle a little bit, but their composition has definitely put them in a position where they can find a lead.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see if MnM can use that, though. That's the thing. How they use their lead, if they can get it. Now, we're looking at the top side as well. Kerberos on the Camille versus Mummus' set. We always know that Camille has a fantastic scaling option. She's always great in the side lanes as a split pusher. How does that kind of work out versus the likes of a set? Can you continue split to push against him, or is he able to answer you out?
Absolutely can. I think one of the big things with Camille is that you can keep rotating your spells. You can delay your second Q, wait out his Haymaker. It's easy to dodge as well. You can use your ult to dodge it. You can use your hook shot. You can just use the mobility you have. So ultimately, it's pretty tricky for Set really to handle her in the later stages. Set is a great team fighter though, but I feel like that isn't necessarily what Demise is going to do in the later stages. They're going to look to poke you, they're going to look to pick you, and they're going to look to split the map, and that's very difficult for MnM to deal with. So I feel like MnM, they need to be setting the pace if they want to have control of this game. It's something that they did do okay against Fnatic, but ultimately their lack of control of the objectives and their inability to find the right fights for themselves did cost them.
Well, we'll be seeing shortly as we do look to take to the rift between Demise and MnM. These two teams are currently tied towards the lower end of the ladder. A win here is a solid start as we are kicking off the second round robin. Earlier, Chu will take a little bit of poke. That's just some gold for Drag Dart on a Spell Thieves.
You take those.
Yeah. Bit of Wonga.
Oh, I love those level 1 fights when you got a support item and you just have so much gold after it, and you just ping it and you're like, game's won, guys. Massive gold lead of like 30. 15 at the moment. And that was
Pack
one
it
stat.
up, boys. It's time to go home.
Massive gold lead already for Demise. And then you got to ask MnM, we said they need to come ahead early. And to have this much of a discrepancy already, can they do anything? I guess we will see.
Was that your, like, hyping up voice?
That's my kind of serious, but not completely. Well, it's kind of like...
It sounded like Jeremy Clarkson doing something.
It's trying to indicate that I'm not being completely serious in case someone just tunes in and goes, what is this guy talking about? It's 15 gold, man. It doesn't mean that much. That was sarcasm when I was talking about the gold lead. Just, you know, for anyone who's not clued in.
Well, I'm glad we've cleared that up. Don't worry, I'll say something later which people are like, what are they talking about?
That's just everything you say, to be honest. With me, it's sarcasm. With you, it's just being wrong.
That's why we have you here.
Chaos is getting beat up on.
Yeah, he's getting punched out here. Turns out Rock does beat Scissors.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty good line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice.
Actually, for once I wasn't wrong.
It'd be even better if it was Malphite into Camille, though.
Yeah.
That would be perfect.
But his hand's the Rock, right?
Yeah, but like Malphite.
All right, we're putting way too much thought into this.
Okay, so like, you know when you make a joke and then it goes way too far and you kill it? I think we just...
Yeah, we
did
literally,
that.
I finally was funny and then we murdered it.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we see when people do pick up this bird is they take this Kirchi's Shard. Obviously, for the extra magic damage you get on your auto attacks.
80 damage. And if you compare that to Storm, Razor, Rapid Fire Cannon, Static Shiv, they do 120. And they're sizably more expensive. So it's a good early spike and building the Rapid Fire later for the extra range on those autos that's slow. So you can set up your stun. But I think in the early game, interesting thing to note is we're seeing the Omni Stone from Fires. Personally, I am not a fan of the Omni Stone on Bard. It was a Bard 1 trick who started doing it, and everyone kind of copied it. I don't rate it. I think you're better off just taking Electrocute and always having Electrocute.
We don't see Omni Stone very often as a rune, so...
Yeah, there's kind of a reason for that. You do see Soft invading.
Yep, they're getting themselves the hook shot off onto Soft.
He misses a smite there,
jump away.
Steal the blue, and then has to flash out. So kind of suboptimal, and it's a big hit because Flash on Rek'Sai is super important in the early game for setting a gank. So the fact that Demise managed to burn that one is a pretty big advantage. And I think this is Soft pausing to say, guys, game's over, I've lost my Flash.
Actually, it's on the other side. So having a slight lag issue on the side of Wolfshin. So hopefully it won't be too long before that gets ironed out. Yeah, early flash burn is really, really big. I mean, Soft can't look up to set up those lanes. And where do we think we're going to see him look for an early gank? Now that he doesn't have that flash, is it doable? Is he just going to have to kind of AFK farm for a little bit? Or what's the options?
You can look bot, you can look top. I think mid's not really feasible with the LeBlanc, but I think bot definitely is. If they overstep, actually when it was paused, there was a massive wave built up pushing towards MnM, so they could gank them on that. They could also potentially look towards top side. Kerberos has been bullied out quite a bit in this matchup. He's just returned to base. He may well TP back to lane. But you could definitely set up a dive there because you kind of need flash if you're taking aggro. But Mummus on set is very good at tanking towers. With a Haymaker, you can easily absorb a couple of tower hits. So I think that's basically going to be the situation is Soft can apply pressure, but it's kind of mitigated a bit. If you do misplay, you're going to be punished heavily for not having that flash.
We see a Chu went to base, but got himself the coal. Sometimes you see these cheater bases come out from MFs and they look to buy extra Doran swords. But in this case, it looks like it's just going to be the coal. Wants to get some farming options. Should be able to equalize that CS deficit that has been coming through. It's only 4 at the moment, but a bigger wave, so it'll actually be fine there. I'm curious to see. You know what? I'm not even going to check it. It's way too early. In the
What are you
I was like,
see?
wonder how many stacks Bard's got already, because Bards love to roam around.
Less than 100, I'll say that for sure.
Okay. Let's give me a good estimate. What do you think?
4.
1. He's got one.
wait. I thought because he's out of lane, I'm like, he must have been collecting them. But no, he's got one.
No,
star.
I mean, there's one like up by the chicken camp on the map. And then I guess he's probably standing on one right now, but...
No, it's 4. Look, you can actually mouse over there.
Oh, yeah.
It is 4. I was right.
Oh, it's because he's got one follower for the empowered recall. Okay, cool.
Wait, what? What empowered recall?
Not recall, sorry, auto attack.
Yeah. I was right. I nailed it with a 4, you know, and you're trying to deprive me.
My head is working right now. Anyway, hopefully it won't be too long on this pause. It looks like they're just sorting it out.
Yeah, this has a problem when we set our points up so well, is that when a pause happens...
We're like out of things to talk about. What do you want to talk about then, Orcs? Here's one. If your farts could smell of anything, what would you choose them to smell of?
Does anything include odorless?
I mean, yeah.
There you go.
Odorless.
There you go.
See, my girlfriend said like fresh bread, and I was like, that's not a bad one.
Yeah, but then everyone would notice.
Yeah, but everyone would be like, oh, that's some fresh bread smell.
But then they'd also
if
be aware of the fact
if
that
you drop an egg, and actually it turns out you drop a loaf of bread, like, no one's going to go, oh, who did that?
No one's going to eat that bread that comes from
you
that,
don't.
right?
No.
Do you know how you smell? Do you know when you smell stuff?
No, the point
it's
is...
little particles of it floating in the air that go in your nose, right?
I'm aware
So they'll
of
be
that.
like, oh, that smells nice, but I have particles of your stuff in my nose, so please stop, right? Not interested. So no, odorless, right?
Odorless is perfectly fine. I thought fresh bread's quite nice. All right, if it has to smell then, what would you pick? So it means you're taking the easy option out. I said fresh car interior. You know when you're like getting a new car and it's got that smell?
you know when like you have a new book or you have like you know when you open
You said book right.
Yeah,
I'm actually really proud of you.
I held it back, the northern. Anyway, or like you know when you used to open Pokemon cards and they had that like
that like card smell. Yeah.
That I remember I used to open Pokemon cards when I was a kid and I would just like give them a whiff and be like, oh.
Well, you heard it here first. Orcs wishes his fart smelled like paper. We were talking earlier about how Shrek is the best film ever as well.
It's pretty solidly up there.
See, I didn't believe it. And then I watched a YouTube video on a guy who's explaining why Shrek 2 is like the best sequel there could be. And it's actually such a good film.
Yeah, that was a big point I made, is that Shrek 1, pretty good film, but Shrek 2 was better. And it's rare that films stick the landing for the second one.
Yeah.
And I think the big point for me was that in Shrek 1, they built the world. They set it up. And in Shrek 2, they expanded on it. And you got to see more of it. You know, when you went to Far, Far Away and all the fairy tale things coming in, if the pause goes on long enough, we'll start live showing Shrek 2. And,
How about we do that?
Yeah.
Should we reenact it?
No.
No. We'll get Excandrel in for that. He could be Prince Charming.
No, I think that's terrible.
You don't think
I think the film's good enough. Right, leave
There's
it.
a musical.
Which has paid professional actors in.
Yeah?
Not us.
I studied acting for years. I did 9 years of acting school.
And look where I got you.
Yeah, everything me and you both studied really didn't go in any other way. You did like economics, right?
Yeah.
I did drums. And
I dropped out.
here we are.
I dropped out to study League of Legends. My true love.
That's the alarm sounding from the producer's room. We're going to cut to a quick break while we sort out the issues going on in-game. Hopefully won't be too long. We'll be back shortly, so see you in a second. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UK League Championship. It was looking dire, but we are back in and ready to go. So hopefully be unpausing the game and getting ready to go into our fourth and final game of the day. I didn't want to end on a forfeit. That would be really unfun.
So if you want to be reminded of what happened, Soft invaded to try and steal away the enemy blue, failed, burnt his flash. That's it. That's literally it.
That is literally it.
That's everything.
Cool. And looks like we are back into the game here.
And as you can see, I wasn't lying. Soft's flash is down. Seen some heavy trading topside. And Mummus put the hit down on a Kerberos. Obviously, Camille, a big scaling pick, but doesn't hold up quite as well early. Kerberos did just burn his TP to get topside, though. And only had enough money to afford a dagger, so not really a great back for the Camille.
Yeah, and Mummus just punching him away. Get those haymakers off. Just so much damage to him early.
A big thing with this matchup as well is Kerberos, obviously the passive shield is only AD damage when you're going up against a set. So against the haymaker, if you get caught by the Sentruff and its true damage, it ignores your shield. You saw there, he got caught by the side of it, so his shield actually bore the brunt. So that's a critical part of this matchup, is that you need to try and avoid getting caught by the Sentruff. I mean, obviously that's typical anyway, but usually with squishier champions, it doesn't make too much of a difference because you don't have that much armor. But with Camille, it massively does if you have that shield available.
Did before the break see it happen as well. Mummus once again going in for the trade, gets some damage off.
And then
he's actually waiting it out this time, which is kind of smart, as that's in the center.
But he does get the true damage anyway, so despite waiting out, he still gets the true damage, and he's put the hit down on the Kerberos in this matchup.
Yeah, he's got himself a CS lead here for the moment, as Wolfchin's actually just helping Zoran go for an early push in, so Zoran can get himself a base off. I like that, but Chimera actually maybe looking to freeze the lane here.
Yeah, potentially can. You've gone for the reset. You're in a position to... Fires, put a chime down mid. A shrine, sorry. Just so there's a heal available for Chimera. What a nice guy. Mama's getting a plate already. Kerberos had to reset again. Didn't have TP this time. Mama's TP back the lane with a Doran's Blade and a longsword to keep pushing that advantage. It's looking a little bit rough so far for Kerberos to be giving up this much in the early game already without any jungle pressure really coming in. I will say that Soft did invade a couple of times the top side, which could have threatened, but nothing actually came out on Kerberos. And there's a big CS discrepancy.
Yeah, it's really starting to skyrocket here now. Soft looking for a gank here onto Zoran. Zoran jumps away.
That's an interesting pull. A short journey.
But still magical.
Yeah, that's like you got the ladder to Hogwarts and then you got expelled before you even got on the train.
Chu quite happy just to farm away on his own while Aphias just runs around the map, trying to get these chimes, trying to find these setups for his team. Now, Chimera's got the ultimate available, and he's going to throw it down. Soft finds himself the knock-up to follow. The claw goes out, and that is first blood to Soft. Meanwhile, topside, Mummus going for a scrap versus Kerberos, getting himself the haymaker off, and Kerberos just loses out.
Nice side
massively on the fight.
True damage though, but a good play coming out mid. There is actually set up to kill LeBlanc with the ult from Chimera. And I like to see that they're using this Bard pick to roam up and assist with those plays. This is what you take it for. You get priority in bot lane, and then you use the Bard to facilitate plays on the rest of the map. So nice move from MnM. Good start so far. And they have quite a sizable gold lead, not just from that kill, but also from the CS advantages in bot and top lane. Mid now as well, because Zoran went down. And MnM, we said that early game had to be good. So far has been.
Has been very good. Kirby's going to find himself a honey fruit so he can heal up, although Mummus has spotted him out. Going to run towards him. The hook shot goes down.
If that
doesn't
caught him.
Catch him with a face breaker. You did see earlier, Mummus did use his ultimate to trade out onto Curb, hence why Curb was so low. Achu used his bullet time just to push out the way so he could get a reset. Buy himself this BF sword into Ravstar, who's got himself the Sheen, so he does have a little bit extra to work with, but that's mainly just giving him the ability to kind of poke using his Q. Going to be very reliant on using his Q to shove the wave out.
Yeah, little tier spike. Not sure why Ravstar used his W there. It doesn't work on minions. And it's not like you're stacking your tier. But ultimately, a little bit more trading power in the bot lane with that Sheen compared to going for the tier initially.
Sure. getting on the edge, the cusp of being caught.
Oh, potentially a dive being threatened, although it's just a bard, but Rabstar was alone. Threatened the damage. Oh,
Now they're looking to go onto Mammoth. Misses out on the chains there. Throws out a haymaker. 3 members sent up to topside. Now Rabstar finds himself caught. Found himself ignited. He's burning down, and Aphias finds the kill.
yeah, nice dive coming out, and this is a vulnerability of the Yuumi Ezreal lane, is that we don't really do that much in the early game, especially on a tower. It's mostly being safe to evade from engages.
Good. Going for a fight now. Look at it inside the pit. Soft did spot Ruchin out.
He's going to contest this one, and Bard should be able to move up. He has mobility boots. He's a Bard. You can make those magical journeys and get up there to contest. But Zoran is paired up with the Yuumi, so Dragdoll, though less useful than the Bard right now, is there to assist. But the Herald just going to be forced off. And now Chu's actually walking up mid, so he can potentially offer that numbers advantage. Whereas Rabstar going bot lane with no TP and Yuumi heading over. This indicates to me that Demise are giving up this Herald. And we'll go over to MnM.
Yeah, there's no real way for Demise to go for this without taking a very risky team fight, so they decide better of it. You step away, the resets are coming down, and actually it looks like a Chu may just head back towards his bot lane. He's just holding mid for the moment.
Yeah, it's nice. I like when plays like this happen, is that you don't need to move the MF all the way, but you move it mid to catch the wave. And then, especially with the extra movement speed, you can move back bot and catch that wave. So good assignment from MnM and good play. This is something that we criticized them for against Fnatic, was they weren't really playing around neutral objectives very well, despite doing well in the early game. And this is a situation where they have rectified that, picking up that Herald, finding the kill in the bot lane. Overall, just a solid performance for the side of MnM. We do unfortunately have another pause, and we're just going to find out what it is. Hopefully it won't be too long again. But at least there's a bit more games to talk about.
Yeah, we got a little bit more. Now, Rabstar's picked up the tier, the goddess, so he will be stacking it up. So this time when he throws the W out, it will at least achieve something. Looks like we're having a lag problem again on the side of Wolfchin, so hopefully he'll be able to iron that out. I want to talk a little bit about his top lane, because Mummus is kind of stamping on Kerberos right now, the set versus Camille.
And typically you see champions that can contest a set more in the early game go up against him. Camille is one who does look to scale a little bit more. If you get up close to set, obviously that face breaker into the full combo from him, pretty devastating. And obviously Kerberos will outscale in this matchup, but it's not a great start. And I feel like all 3 lanes are suffering pretty heavily at the moment. And it very much is for Demise. They need to find momentum later on in the game, is the big thing.
Yeah, we saw a Chu catching that wave in the mid lane. Now going down to the bot side, he's basically doing what we saw Deadly do last game, where he's just running around the map, catching farm everywhere. And the pause has been undone, so we go back into the game.
Just a reminder.
Here we are. Hello. We're going back into the game. Cool. So, Cole stacking up quite nicely on the side of a Chi.
Hello. We're still here.
We're still here. We're on camera. Let's go sit down.
Oh, no. We're off again.
Hey, we're in game.
We got there. There were some tactical issues on our end that time, but we got there in the end, and an engage comes in from Mummus.
Yeah, Kerberos is looking to jump away. What an interrupt. Soft finds himself the kill.
I like that. Nice moves from Soft. He gets his flash back up, instantly making the power play with it. And there they managed to punish Kerberos even more so. There's Rek'Sai now 2-0. Kerb pretty far behind in farm, and MnM really putting the momentum in.
Mummus just going to get himself a plate for that as well. Deny a massive wave from Kerberos. Kerberos may just have to teleport here, so he doesn't want to give too much up. Soft swimming around. Land Shark. Trying to see where she can put down the Rift Herald.
Interesting to see he's using the Eternum Rek'Sai skin rather than, say, Pool Party.
Why?
Just because Pool Party is a 6 skin.
Pool Party is a 6 skin.
Yeah, Eternum's...
Although most competitive games, people play Eternum. I don't know why.
Maybe Pool Party's on the list of banned skins. There are some skins that banned away for not enough clarity.
A lot of the Lux ones got undone. Might have to hold that though, as Rabstar gets himself caught. They throw down the Tempered Fate. Camaras can take a little bit here, but the claw goes down. He can reset the tower aggro, and Dragdar and Rabstar do a good job to actually disengage from that. Now they've got backup of Wolfchen. He's looking to close in. Also Zoran coming forward, but MnM able to disengage. That Tempered Fate was impressive, but it basically felt the safety of Rabstar and Dragdar.
Not impressive. It stopped the tower, but also gave them a window out, and it usually is an easy dive. on the back of Chimera with that ultimate available. But critically, something I said in the draft was how it's pretty easy to dive a Yuumi before level 6. Once Yuumi hits level 6, she offers a lot more with that ultimate to sort of peel off in terms of dives. And that was a big difference maker there. Dragdar having that available made it pretty tricky to find the dive there. They do manage to get away safely, although they don't turn it around and get a kill. MnM, again, trading with Kerberos. What we expect. Kerberos doing a little bit better.
Yeah, actually, he gets himself the hook shot. Facebreaker will make his mark, and that just turns the fight back around.
That haymaker was beautifully timed, though. The shield blocked out the second usage of the precision protocol. Especially now that Kerberos has Sheen, that can actually do a lot of damage. So nice moves from MnM. Nice little micro mechanics coming out there. And he keeps... It's so precarious for Kerberos because you feel like there could be someone hovering, potentially looking for a dive, although there is information picked up on the other side of the map that Soft is looking for this dragon, wanted to secure the second. Pretty important if you are a team who is looking to spike early that you start stacking up those for the soul. Chimera going to be poked out by the trio here. But he still has his ult, which obviously has a lot of healing, and I think they're going to be able to try and get this dragon and get out.
Yeah, with the Furious Bite and the Smite, it's secured. Soft now running around still with his Rift Herald. Not got long left on it, actually, so you may want to place this down as like we have ourselves a cloud map. Actually, fairly useless for MnM outside of that cooldown reduction of movement speed, but Chu, he's just using the bullet time. Rapstar will fall, solo killed out by Chu, and now Aphias can look onto Dragdar. They've summoned out the Rift Herald, and they're looking for that glory kill. Chu may just be the one they give it over to. MF's getting fed, MF's getting tower plates as well to follow. Now Wolfchen looking for something, looking for a shutdown, can't quite get it. So they do get themselves the Tempered Fate. Zoran stepping forward, throws out the chains, but they don't quite find their mark, and now they flash forward. Wolfchen jumps back out as Kerberos is making his way forward. Soft goes in for a bit of a swim as he's jumping out. The teleports are coming in into the top side. Looks like they're trying to join up to the fight. MnM finds out a couple of members, gets caught inside with that Hextech ultimatum, but Chimera jumps forward to the claw, throws out the ultimate to pin people in place here, as that's going to be the showstopper. On to one as Curb gets taken out. The second charge of the Rift Herald will also go through. MnM just finding advantages everywhere.
Demise taking a rough fight there. They'd already lost their bot lane essentially for free. They still opt to commit, and MnM decide to bring numbers in return. They get 2 towers, they get a ton of kills, and they're now 7,000 up in gold.
Massive, massive lead for them. As we're going to see a Chu go to base, get his Essence Reaver, get himself a second BF sword. He's going to be punching so much harder than Rapstar can do. MnM's now working towards that Triforce as well. Kerberos, pretty close, all things considered. He's still struggling. This wave will get shoved in, but Chimera should catch this nice and easy. The lane swaps have come down. They're looking to try and get their hands onto this second Rift Herald. That's a better magical journey. Puts Aphias nice and close towards his AD carry, but actually they're going to use it to go jumping onto a Chu here. A Chu has to flash away from Zoran.
Yeah, that was a 7 Harry Potter book magical journey, but ultimately it gets him to safety, but not a Chu, so he has to burn his flash. And then going to apply some pressure mid, though, and this tower with Demolish could well just go down, especially with no plates available. So everyone's running over to try and defend, but it looks like they're now potentially looking for Wolfchen.
Yeah, Wolfchen's going to be able to dodge away from the knockup from Soft, but Soft still finds it. Does not catch him out inside the parallel convergence, but he uses his ultimate back, the Chrono Break to heal up. Soft running away, and in comes Kerberos. Can't quite find it with the tactical sweep, but Rapstar gets himself one. A short magical journey into the bullet time. Not magical enough. Now Kerberos jumps onto Chimera, throws out the Glacial Tomb, gets caught inside as Kerberos takes him down. 2 for none in favor of the side of Demise, but they are losing a tier 3 turret inside their base. MnM is just smashing through this objective.
Yeah, Kerb's coming back, but he might actually be a little bit too late here. That set did a lot of damage to towers.
Set's got this.
He's got it.
MnM actually just got an inhibitor turret at 16 minutes, and now Kerberos is trying to trade out with him. Lots of grit to work with. MnM has to be careful. In comes the backup of Rabstar, able to dodge away some of those abilities for the moment. Throws out the Haymaker for a light shield. Can't get himself a face breaker off in time as he throws out the showstopper. Kerberos finally gets himself a kill onto MnM. Gets some revenge for all that bullying that's been happening in the lanes, but I think if you're MnM, you may have lost 3 people, but you're pretty happy with that trade.
Yeah, you took mid tower, you took bot lane, inhibitor tower. The gold lead is still 6,000. Yes, Demise got a little bit more income, but they've lost a lot in terms of structures. 4-0 in towers, 2 Dragonstone as well, and a minute away for the next spawning.
Keep in mind, MnM did that without the Triforce. Now he's got that Triforce. He's going to be even more of a menace in these side lanes. You can see Chimera's looking to take down the last outer tower. Has got that demolished to work with, so do a fair amount to this. Just goes in for a light trade with Zorin. As now, Vice actually may have found him out here. Gets the stun. He hasn't picked up the Kershi Shard. He's actually gone for a... Well, looks like he's going to be a Dead Man's Plate build.
Yeah, pretty common Dead Man's Plate, but obviously you get that extra damage on the auto attack, and also it makes you a bit too bulky to be picked off is the big thing. The movement speed as well, nice for rotating around. Now looking for MnM, although they will just jump in and try and pressure the tower. Trying to trade on the map. Ultimately, the Herald is picked up for MnM, and they're now resetting and heading towards that dragon. It would be the 3rd for them. Pretty significant if they can get that one.
Puts them on soul point very quick into this game as well.
I think movement speed as well. Pretty useful, like the flat movement speed, very useful for their team. The ult, actually pretty useful on some of the members. MnM, Chimera if he ults someone else. Bard for the chase down potential. Even Soft, after you dash in, it gives you a way to escape. So
yeah, true, actually.
Can be powerful.
It's just a Chew it's kind of wasted on, but he's quite happy with the passive movement speed on the Misfortune. Curb getting flanked here. Doesn't know where Fias is, but Chew's just going to catch the wave, get himself some gold. Cloud Drake should be picked up with no contention. Fias makes sure it gives him a shrine to heal off. So Fias has seen Rabstar.
Oh, he gets away with it. Could have been a little bit rough. Demise looking to apply pressure top, but the Sandra is
hard
to dive. Yeah, that's definitely up there in terms of difficulty.
And I think Demise think better of that. It's 3 versus 2. They're trying to see if they can make some kind of threaten onto MnM, but MnM, they'll just go step away. Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver now finished up onto a Chew. He has farmed up an absolute storm at this point in the game.
Yeah,
50 CS lead.
500 gold. Actually just dropped down to 450, but a huge shutdown available if they can get it. But yeah, you can see 2,400 is the difference between AD carries. The rest of the map is a little bit more tempered. It's about maximum of 1,000 between everyone else, but the AD carries, there's this massive difference. And we saw that last game, what a difference between AD carries can sort of provide, especially when it was a Misfortune. So it's a bit concerning for Demise, their chances right now. But they've showed fight. They've showed they're willing to take these skirmishes and try and punish members of MnM, but they're going to need a bit more of that. They want to get back in this game.
Oh, MnM just killed Kerberos with the help of Chimera.
Yep.
Kerb's having a rough game here. Chew catching this wave in the mid lane. Should look to try and shove this in. Maybe Chimera looks for someone onto Rabstar, however. Soft being found out here. The magical journey gets used by Feist. He used the loss of the final chapter as well. Trying to get that knock up. They got the teleports to come in. That's going to be Wolfgen jumping out and blinking back in. Feist is there, but the bullet time comes through. And a ultimate by Soft is enough to secure himself another one. A double kill for a Chew. Down goes the kitty cat. It's the ace for MnM.
Okay, Ross does just respawn at the end. The ace had already come in. It's 1v5. Not really much you can do. That was pretty funny from Wolfgen ulting back, then coming back through the pole. Not sure he wanted that one.
Got bitten there.
Not sure he wanted that one, but they are going to take down the Baron. It's going to put them at about a 10k gold lead, just under. And now they have the Baron buff as well. And you can see that before there was about 1,000 between the other members. It's expanded a little bit thanks to that gold, that team fight, but mostly that difference between AD carries, 3,500 now. It's looking pretty bad for Demise. We did say coming into this, we felt like the way MnM's been playing, they're looking better. They're looking solid. The objective control was the thing that was lacking yesterday. And I don't know about you, but I see three dragons. I see a Herald in Soft's pocket.
Oh, yeah, he still got that.
And I see a Baron. So I'm thinking...
Soft didn't use it. Oh, no, he did. Oh, I was about to say, I thought it timed out.
MnM doing pretty good in terms of objective control. So better than their performance yesterday.
Yeah, this is definitely a turnaround. Remember, MnM did have a rough game yesterday. They were playing versus Fnatic Rising, the second seed team who are dominant versus any team but aren't above them in the ladder. As they have managed to get one charge, they actually might just get their second charge here. They might just get a second inhibitor turret. This game is very fast-paced as the charge will come out from the Rift Herald. No one's going to be able to stop that one. As they've still got Shelly to push with. Chu's trying his best to keep it alive, but it will finally fall down. And now they can just look for the bot lane inhibitor. Demise. This really could spell their demise. Zoran is just going for a tier 1 topside, but he is losing his base. Sophias goes out for the stun. The claw comes forward. Chimera jumps in, gets himself a frozen tomb, and Rolfchin will fall. MnM finding yet another kill.
Now, the only thing is they don't have any minion waves for a while. Kerberos is actually clearing up mid, so they can't push any further. But that's a big amount of Demise's base to be cut away.
And the big thing I'm noting here is that Demise don't really have big. I mean, it's that big, but I have to say big twice.
Big. Continue.
Demise don't really have all that much wave clear. The Soft is finding himself getting caught out by Kerberos. Or is it Kerberos getting found out? Soft with the Void Rush secures the kill. True Shot Barrage goes wide.
That's a strong Rek'Sai.
That's a big old Rek'Sai indeed. Zoran looks to jump onto a fire. They use the Lost Chapter to get the stun down as he is picked up. A shutdown for Zoran. Losing their support.
Well, they find something. Gold lead still about 10,000. Base kind of in shambles. And Cloud Soul about to spawn and be taken by MnM. It's not looking good, but they haven't ended the game yet. And that Baron is due to time out pretty soon. So Demise, they've held on. But it's not a great look so far.
Definitely a rough going for them. As the Dragon has been instantly started up. But choose the one on zone in control here on the MF. Actually, he just wanted red. Oh my lord.
That's some damage.
That was like 4 auto attacks.
I mean, that's the triple BF sword item. I mean, he hasn't finished the Bloodthirster yet, but it's a lot of AD. And that Infinity Edge to make the crits even bigger. Cloud Soul not picked up, so even faster. These teams moving about. And obviously the extra movement speed when they ult. Looking pretty bad if you're a Demise fan. But if you're an MnM fan, they're looking good. They're looking better than they did yesterday against Fnatic. And obviously, a difference in opposition will affect that. But they have shown that their objective control can be formidable. Priority on the Heralds was good. Priority on the Dragons, obviously good. You've got the Soul. And overall, the coordination for the team has been strong. I like the fact that they were playing pretty heavily around a Fire Spinel to move, setting up Chimera in the mid lane and punishing Zoran. Just good play from MnM. And Demise, it's a last stand here. They're pushing in the top wave. It looks like Demise are trying to go for a heavy contest bot. So Rolfchin and Kerberos shoving this in. If they found anyone, they'd obviously kill them, recall, try and look for a 5v4, but no one showed up. So Rolfchin's going to reset, and they're going to try to go for their last defense. Now, there's no Baron minions, but there's little wave clear, as you said.
There's very, very little wave clear and a lot of AD damage. Chimera jumps forward with a claw. Doesn't quite get it. Zoran goes for an assassination onto Fires. Chokes into half, but they lose their last outer inhibitor. Zoran jumps in. They get the final chapter down for the moment. A blink back out. Mumus has a massive old shield on him as Zoran jumps in and out of the fight. Chimera looks to follow up. Goes golden for the moment, and Chu is just mincing through Rabstar. Finds himself a double kill with the bullet time. It's a triple kill. And that is everybody on the side of Demise falling down but Kerberos. Their base is in shambles. 25 minutes on the clock. All of the inhibitors are down. The Nexus has been laid bare here, and MnM will take this game in a dominant fashion. Not before Kerberos finds himself a kill onto a Fires.
And it's a crushing victory for MnM. They had complete control from minute 1. I do feel like Demise kind of put themselves on the back foot a degree because they didn't really have any lane that they could really play around early. But I think MnM, strong performance from Mumus in the top lane. The trio of Soft, Chimera, Fires making some nice early plays. And then Chu, he got the farm handed to him. He got the gold laid onto him. You saw him play a similar style to Deadly on XL, sort of moving to pick up that solo XP and waves. And he absolutely delivered. He was a monster by the end of the game. So MnM looking good.
MnM looking very, very good. It was it was quite a lot of one-sided games today. I think that's fair to say. But, you know, we are in the second round of the round robin. I'm excited to see some of our future games coming up. Let's have a little look, actually, at next week's standings so we can see who will be playing versus who. There we go. Cool. So we'll be starting off next week with MnM taking on BTXL, Fnatic Rising versus Demise, and Vision versus Barrage. That one's going to be very exciting. And then Phelan versus Enclave.
I like how you said next week's standings.
Sorry, yeah, my bad.
Just made it really. That's why it's
that's
delayed.
probably
You
just
made it
completely through. We've got a new producer as well, so I'm really sorry about that.
But yeah, so that's the schedule. Some of the games potentially one-sided, as is typical, but it's good to see what the teams can offer. MnM against XL, it's definitely XL favored, but we will see. And that Envision Barrage one, Barrage, they obviously are top 2 currently in the league, and they've looked strong, but I feel like against the lower teams in the rankings, they haven't looked quite as dominant as Fnatic has, so potentially there could be something there. We'll just have to see. And Enclave against Phelan, I think that's a big test, because I think Enclave are looking better with Wyzek. I think Phelan, though, also have started to fix some of their issues, but not all of them, so I guess we see. That should be an interesting one to end the day out.
Yeah, I think next week's going to be really, really exciting. We have the Fnatic versus BTXL next week as well, don't we? On day 2, if I'm right.
I believe so.
I believe we do. So actually, that's going to be really, really fun to watch as well. Just so you're refreshed on what's happening next week. But yeah, overall, I think at the moment, the standings look to be pretty solid. The Barrage versus Fnatic and the Envision, I feel like that's where we could see some kind of shuffling
I like how
around.
you say pretty solid when everyone's a point apart.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. They're obviously a point apart, but like I think the general kind of like the power of them, even though there's only a point separating them, it looks like things are fairly solid. Apart from, I'd say, kind of second, third, and fourth could probably be moving around a little bit over the next few weeks.
I'm interested because Fnatic Rising, like I said, against XL and Barrage, they just looked off. Right? If you compare that to their games against the other teams, and I don't just mean in terms of, oh, well, against better teams, it's more difficult. I think Fnatic, their drafts made more sense against the weaker rosters, and I think they were playing a lot cleaner. So I'm interested to see them go up against XL this time, because I think that's going to be the big test. If XL beat them there, I'm feeling pretty confident that they'll go the full 14-0.
And I doubt we'll see the Fiddlesticks when they play versus Barrage again, because
so.
Dan's Fiddlesticks was a little bit off the mark, I think it's fair to say.
Suboptimal.
Not really landing those big ultimates because he was dying before he could finish channeling them. It was a rough game for them, but Barrage have been genuinely impressive so far. I think all of our top 4 teams have been pretty impressive so far. Envision, I'm glad to see them on this upward trend. Obviously, they had a really rough week 1 last time round, but
yeah. I think the big thing for me is that everyone's shown, even the lower teams, even Enclave, shown glimmers, shown stuff that I'm like, this I can praise, this I'm looking forward to, this is what needs to be improved. And I think it's a sort of a situation where potentially, every team could look to have a game that they can be proud of. I think Enclave still need to find theirs, but they have matches coming up that I think they'll definitely be able to challenge with the sort of new roster with Wyzek running with them. And we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm enjoying watching the matches so far and seeing such a variety and strategy as well from the different teams.
Yeah, it's been nice seeing the teams not all just kind of stick to the same thing. Some people have been pulling out different ways to catch each other off. I think with the Sona top from Barrage versus Fnatic, that was a key thing they used to pull their win out. So, yeah, overall, pretty exciting stuff coming up here in the UKLC, but that will be doing it here for week 4. We'll be back same time, same place next week. So until then, we'll see you later and good night.